All right, y'all. So, quick story time of how I am close to leaving my church and why. So, let's go ahead and get into it. Don't mind, I just retwisted my hair and, it is what it is. Sunday reset. Happy Sunday, by the way. So, yeah, we're going to do the story time in real time because it's actually happening like right now. So, I'm not going to drop the name of my church for obvious reasons. However, it is a non denominational church and it is a majority Caucasian. I'll say that. It's a sprinkle of us here and there. Um, the area I live with is predominantly Caucasian, and so, finding like that good old school black church is a serious struggle. Okay, so we'll just put that out there like that. But I prayed on it, and I was like, just God draw me to a community of like-minded, faith-based people who are welcoming and are not judgmental, and I can get my word, you know what I'm saying, and move on. So I've been going to the church for a while now. A couple months ago, the pastor had a sermon about giving yourself, not just coming to church and checking it off as a to-do list, but giving more of yourself, volunteering in the community and doing God's work. And he was basically saying how the church can use more volunteers. And I was like, I don't mind getting a little more involved. So I signed up to volunteer at the church. Volunteered and was being put on the greeting team where we're the first faces when you walk into the church. We greet you, we welcome you. If it's your first time, we get you to sign in, introduce ourselves, and we give you like a quick tour, and then we walk you into the auditorium for the service. Now, there have been several instances that I have witnessed hands on where I'm just like, what's going on? You know what I'm saying? I felt a little uneasy. Two people for sure I know of have been put in very uncomfortable situations, and everything stems from this one person who happens to be over the lead of the greeters team. Now, the first day I met her and we exchanged phone numbers, she then friended me on Facebook, which I was like, I don't know about that. I really don't, befriend people on social media platforms that I don't know like that. Well, I'll just say like Facebook, really, because it's just for like friends, people that know you in real life. You know what I'm saying? But I just met you, so I didn't friend her. But I noticed that she was keeping up with me and what was going on in my life because when I got engaged a couple of months later, I came to church that morning and she was like, "Congratulations on your engagement." I saw it on Facebook, but we're not friends on Facebook because it was a public post. She saw it, which means she's following me. So she might see this, and that's okay. And this isn't to bash. I kind of hope she does see it, but it's just to bring awareness because maybe this is something that she does and she's not aware that she does. But I feel like she's very much aware of what she does and who she really is. Yeah. So anyway, fast forward. Every time I go to church, I always am very presentable. I dress according. I never ever have an issue with what I wear to church. Most of the time I dress up, but then it's a very, very casual atmosphere. So the last two Sundays, today and last week, I kind of dressed down. It was a little more casual. This is what I wore today. Okay. So I debated on wearing the jeans because I'm like, I don't really want to wear distressed jeans, but they don't show skin. Let me show you guys again. So I was like, okay, why not? There really clearly are not holes in my jeans. They're distressed, but like I said, no skin is showing. When I walk in, a few of my volunteer colleagues, I'll call them, complimented me on my outfit, and we just carried on our normal greeting in the morning and things like that. And went on to service. Everything was fine. And after the second service, I left after the first service. When I get home, around time after the second service let out, I get a text message from the lead of the greeters team. And it said, I'll let y'all go ahead and read that a little something something, but we're going to only focus on number one under professionalism and the second dot. Avoid wearing anything overly casual, such as ripped jeans above the knee. We'll stop there. Ironically, today was my first day ever wearing distressed jeans, but I find it very odd that that text message was directly sent to me and it was followed up by her personal text, which stated, so at first I just liked it and I was going to leave it at that, but then I was like, something in my heart is telling me to speak on it. So I asked her straight up. I didn't see this posted in our group. So is this being sent to me because of the jeans that I had on today? This is her response. Okay. What threw me off is the very first two words. Ha 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 ha, which isn't a word. Nope. And then it just, you looked fantastic today. Okay. And then it says it's actually a new dress code. But what really, really bothered me was towards the last part. I just sent it to each team member individually. I didn't want anyone to feel called out. So, most of the time, people who do not want any specific person called out will send something like this to the group. That way, every single person got it. You can't feel like you're called out because everyone received it. In this case, nothing was sent to our group thread, which we do have a very active group thread. This was sent to me individually, so I have no way of confirming if anyone on the team or anyone else on the team received this. And I'm not going to go digging and try to conjure up to find out. I honestly, in my heart, feel like she sent this because of the outfit I had on today. Let's look at the outfit again. Yeah, so there's the close up on the distressed part of my jeans. I definitely do not feel like this was anywhere inappropriate or unprofessionalism or unprofessional, I should say. This particular person is very judgmental. She asks things that are very uncomfortable to people before even really getting to know them, such as what does your husband or your fiance or your significant other do for a living? I think that things like that just don't make sense to ask, especially if you have never met that person directly, hands on, the person that you're asking about. Like, if I haven't met your husband to ask him directly, I'm not going to inquire what he does for a living. I feel like the questions that I ask like that are just kind of put in your back pocket on how you're going to deal with said person. Another situation happened where another girl was volunteering with me, and it was like her first or second time volunteering, and her husband was not coming with her as often as he would have or she would like him to have. And the lead of the greeters team asked her, where he was, and she said he's home. She's trying to get him to come, but he's just not there yet with attending church, whatever, whatever. I don't remember her exact words, but it made the young lady and myself very uncomfortable. And she basically was like, well, God doesn't like that. And he should make time for God if he can make time for everything else and this and the third. It was very, very uncomfortable and extremely inappropriate. Needless to say, I never saw her back on the greeters team. I do see her at church, but she doesn't volunteer any longer. She was uncomfortable. That's the second person that I've had a conversation with that no longer volunteer. My dilemma now is, do I stop going to the church altogether? Because I really do enjoy the pastor, his word. I feel like the pastor has a very welcoming personality, him and his wife. But it's just the first impression when you walk in the door is the last impression. And being that we are the greeters, to be on the greeters team and I don't even feel welcomed, it's hard for me to fake welcome others. Like, hey, welcome, welcome. I don't even feel welcome. Do you know what I'm saying? So I'm like, do I just stop volunteering and continue to go to the church, or just pray God directs me to another church home that will be less judgmental and more welcoming? Y'all let me know in the comments what your girl should do.